Most people don't want to be cowards. Generally, we want to stand our ground, not give up what we have, and hang in there until things get better. For example, we don't want to be quitters, so we keep working at our jobs, even though the environment is toxic. But sometimes, we could ask ourselves whether or not the situation we're in is worth maintaining. Sometimes, our best option is to walk away and mean it. Although some see it as giving up or failing. But when should we walk away? The decision to leave seems easy, but it's quite complex, influenced by our fears and attachments. At its heart, it's about asking ourselves a fundamental question: is this situation good for me, or should I move on? It's a simple question, but, for many, extremely difficult to answer. This video explores the idea of walking away using philosophy and, possibly surprisingly, economics, which could help us decide when to stay and when to walk away. The difficulties of walking away. Some people consider the act of walking away an act of weakness. Funnily enough, the people who do often benefit from us sticking around. Why is that? It's because the act of walking away is often the only action that makes them lose power over us. Walking away in itself is an act of power. It signals our capacity to thrive independently of what the other party provides. However, many people experience difficulties with walking away. We find it challenging to let go of what we walk away from. So, why is this the case? A reason why we find it difficult is attachment. We dread walking away because we're attached to the thing we intend to walk away from. This thing could even be something not yet in our possession. When we're attached, whether it's to an idea for the future, something in the present, or memories of the past, it's difficult to let go. It's difficult to walk away from the things we're attached to. This mechanism applies to objects, people, animals, ideas, almost anything we grow fond of. But through these attachments, these things have power over us. And thus, those who provide us with these things can leverage this power. Another reason it's so difficult to walk away is the fear of the unknown. We fear what could happen if we abandon a familiar situation. What will be on the other side? Will it be better or worse? We might loathe our jobs, but what terror awaits us when we leave them? We might be in a toxic marriage and wish to get out, but won't our worlds fall apart if we do? The uncertainty of the future can be so frightening that it prevents us from making that leap of faith. We're walking away from the known into the unknown, from the familiar and foreseeable into the dark and unpredictable. So, how do we decide when it's time to walk away? The economics of walking away, of course, whether or not walking away is the best option is mainly subjective. It's complex, based on many factors. So, again, how do we decide when to walk away? Stoic philosopher Epictetus presented a simple simile that could help make this decision. Imagine there's a fire in the house producing smoke. As long as the smoke is moderate and there's enough ventilation to let it escape, it's fine to stay. But if the amount of smoke gets out of hand and becomes harmful, it's probably best to leave the house. This simile is a strong metaphor for understanding when it's time to walk away from situations that harm us. But it's still pretty vague when it comes to practice. In some cases, the harmful effects are clear, for example, in cases of physical abuse. But many times, the complexity of situations makes it difficult to decide whether or not to walk away from them. The smoke, therefore, surrounds us more subtly and may even, paradoxically, blind us for its own presence, as in, we can't see the smoke because of, well, the smoke. Let's move away from philosophy for a while and explore some concepts from economics to expand on Epictetus' analogy and help our decision-making process in smoky situations. Have you ever listed the pros and cons of staying in a particular situation, be it a job, a relationship, or perhaps a living environment? In that case, you've engaged in a cost-benefit analysis. The benefits may include reasons why we entered the situation in the first place or what we hope to gain by staying in it. On the other hand, the costs involve the harmful effects of the smoke, discomfort, lack of sight, health risks, and even psychological issues that may arise from the continual disturbance. When the scales tip towards the costs, meaning that the costs outweigh the benefits, we could argue that there's too much smoke in the house. Therefore, the amount of smoke in the house becomes relative as it correlates to the benefits of the house. In the same way, we could use the cost-benefit analysis to assess relationships, jobs, and personal endeavors to decide if they're too smoky and, thus, it's time to walk away. Often, we remain in the smoky house, even when it's evident that we shouldn't. The costs clearly outweigh the benefits and have been for a long time. But why do we stay? The sunk cost fallacy suggests that people remain in such situations because of what they've already invested. These investments could be time, effort, emotional dedication, or resources that we poured into that thing that's now harming us more than it benefits us. An excellent example of this is marriage. Often, and justly so, people invest a lot in their marriages, take time alone, the years of our lives we've spent dedicated to our spouses. So, when the marriage goes south, and it's clearly not working anymore and beyond repair, it may still be difficult to leave without feeling like we've lost something irreplaceable. But this is the sunk cost fallacy at play. It's the misconception that we should continue on a detrimental path simply because we've already committed so much to it. But our past investments don't generate the yields we hoped for. They're sunk. And we're unlikely to recover them by staying in the smoke. Acknowledging the sunk cost fallacy can help us make decisions based on the present and future without our judgment being clouded by attachment to futile past investments. Every moment we spend coughing in a house full of smoke is a moment not spent in fresher air. The opportunity cost is that when we choose one option over another, we automatically miss out on what could be. Staying in a harmful situation comes with a significant cost, not just the harm but also the benefits we miss out on. By not walking away, we sacrifice these potential benefits. So, acknowledging the opportunity cost helps us consider other paths if we decide to leave the smoke. Instead of asking ourselves what the risks are of walking away, we could also ask, what are the risks of not walking away? What are the dangers of not leaving the smoking house, aside from the possibility of suffocation? To conclude this video, I guess what may help is to remind ourselves that we never walk away empty-handed. We keep the memories. We always learn things from what we leave behind, seeds we could sow in more fertile soil, building blocks of a new, better house that hopefully keeps the smoke at bay. Thank you for watching.